This is Planet Earth, and we are Family Search. Oh, wait, who's Family Search? Family Search is a free, worldwide family connecting service that is driven 100% by people. We help you discover family across generations. Angelo is one of literally countless archivists or records custodians from around the world. These records might be names and dates and certificates, but they also might be photos and stories. At Family Search, a primary focus is obtaining records so we can make them available to you. But having all these records is only as valuable as your ability to easily search them to find your family connections. That's why tens of thousands of volunteers throughout the world are working literally around the clock, helping to verify computer-automated indexing. Thanks to all of them, Family Search has over 16.8 billion searchable names and images. Join your family on Family Search today.
Hi, good morning everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Très contente de vous recevoir aujourd'hui pour discuter de comment intégrer le programme pour l'Afrique et comment profiter des opportunités de développement et d'enrichissement professionnel et notamment personnel. Alors, nous allons essayer d'avancer notre webinaire aujourd'hui plus ou moins en deux langues, selon le souhait et la volonté des participants, de chacun de vous. On va s'exprimer dans la langue essentiellement française et anglaise. Sans trop tarder, j'introduis brièvement le programme pour l'Afrique pour contextualiser notre discussion. Et ensuite, nous donnerons la parole aux responsables des sections et à la coordinatrice des sections de l'ICA qui donneront beaucoup plus d'informations sur qu'est-ce qui serait intéressant de voir dans nos sections. Et nous souhaitons évidemment voir votre intérêt, vos questions, vos interactions pour profiter de cette rencontre. In short, Africa program is considered since 2015, pardon me, one of the most important programs and strategic action that ICA invests in. En gros, en 2015, l'ICA a décidé de créer ce programme pour explorer les possibilités de développement archivistique professionnel au niveau des collègues africains et au niveau des opportunités du potentiel de la communauté africaine au niveau de l'archivistique contemporaine. En 2015, nous avons commencé sous la direction de James Lowry, le programme avec un focus et un intérêt particulier sur la formation et l'éducation dans notre domaine. En 2021, la deuxième phase a commencé et j'ai pris la coordination du programme avec mon collègue Cléophas Ambera, avec qui nous avons avancé parallèlement, mais avec une vision consolidée, concertée, pour pouvoir élaborer des objectifs réunis et uniformes et synchronisés, tout en gardant les particularités des deux communautés, des deux spécificités, des deux pratiques au niveau des deux zones linguistiques. La question qu'on s'est posée, c'est comment amener des facilités, des développements pour plusieurs publics, pour les jeunes professionnels, pour les étudiants et les apprenants dans le domaine, mais aussi pour les professionnels qui sont dans leur poste depuis un moment. De là est parti l'intérêt de faire plus de sensibilisation, d'aider au réseautage et à la visibilité de nos collègues. La formation est restée au centre de nos intérêts. En plus de ça, nous avons beaucoup travaillé sur l'idée de permettre le plus de ressources possible à nos collègues. Sans plus tarder, nous allons essayer de poursuivre notre discussion après ce bref aperçu sur le programme pour l'Afrique. Nous allons poursuivre avec la discussion sur les opportunités avec les sections, les possibilités de se développer dans un secteur ou un autre. So, I'm happy to introduce Coraline Brown, who is coordinating the section at ACA. And we are really very happy to have you, and you have all our colleagues from different perspectives with different specialities and expertise. So the floor is yours, Caroline, please.
Thank you very much, Basma, and hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. We're very excited to be able to present to you today the work of the sections. For me, ICA is very much about the sections that represent different types of archives and records and different working environments. And we're here to support all of our colleagues across the world. So we're very happy to be able to tell you in more detail about what we do. We have presentations from the people that you can see on the screen who are going to talk about their own individual sections. So I would like to introduce the first one, which is the section on archives and human rights. And we have Perrine Carravagio, who is going to tell you about that section. So Perrine.
Bonjour et merci. J'interviens au nom du président de la section, Victor Fonseca, qui à cette heure-ci dort puisqu'il est au Brésil. Je suis membre du comité directeur de la section, qui est la plus jeune section des sections de l'ICA, puisque sa création a été approuvée en 2019 par l'Assemblée générale. C'était la reconnaissance et l'institutionnalisation du groupe de travail Archives et droits de l'homme, qui avait été constitué à la conférence du Cap en Afrique du Sud en 2003. Nous avons fêté hier notre 20e anniversaire par Zoom. Cette section est aussi la plus nombreuse après la section des universités, puisqu'elle rassemble 135 membres en provenance de 40 pays et 165 membres si on inclut les amis de la section, ces bénévoles qui ne sont pas membres de l'ICA mais qui nous aident, par exemple en faisant les traductions. La section développe 3 types d'activités conformément aux objectifs prioritaires qu'elle a adoptés pour la période 2021-2024. Défense et promotion, archives en péril et éducation. D'abord, les activités de promotion. Ce sont des publications comme la lettre mensuelle d'information en anglais, qui est aussi traduite en français et en espagnol, qui est une compilation des nouvelles nationales et internationales et une source d'information unique. Le numéro spécial de la revue de l'ICA, COMA, sur les archives et les droits humains, qui est paru en 2021, le livre Archives et droits humains, publié en anglais et accessible librement sur le site de l'éditeur Routledge. Il a été publié il y a quelques semaines en espagnol et il le sera bientôt en français. Enfin, la traduction de documents importants de l'ICA, comme les principes de base sur le rôle des archivistes et des gestionnaires de documents pour la défense des droits de l'homme, et le commentaire archivistique que Trudy Peterson a fait de la Déclaration universelle. Nous avons aussi des groupes de travail sur la promotion de l'importance des archives dans les entreprises multinationales au Forum des Nations Unies sur les entreprises et les droits de l'homme, avec la contribution à la feuille de route 2023-2033 du Forum et des propositions d'amendement au projet de traité contraignant sur les entreprises et les droits humains. Nous avons aussi un projet pilote sur les archives des industries extractives pour plaider en faveur de la transparence dans ce domaine et l'élaboration de lignes directrices sur les droits d'accès des adultes aux documents relatifs à leur expérience d'enfants adoptés ou pris en charge dans des familles d'accueil. Le deuxième type d'activité, c'est la préservation des archives en péril. Nous avons un projet pilote pour déterminer quels dépôts d'archives sont menacés par le changement climatique, un programme de dépôt de sécurité aussi pour l'hébergement des archives en péril, développé en coopération avec Swiss-Peace, un annuaire pour localiser les archives des commissions de vérité qui ont achevé leur travail, et un annuaire des institutions d'archives détenant des fonds sur les droits humains, en particulier en collaboration avec ALA, la branche latino-américaine de l'ICA. Enfin, nous avons des activités éducatives, un énorme projet de base de connaissances avec une bibliographie de tous les articles publiés sur la question et notamment toutes les entrées de la lettre d'information mensuelle qui est diffusée depuis 2008. Et enfin, des conférences en ligne intitulées « Les entretiens du premier mardi » qui se tiennent tous les 2 mois La dernière a eu lieu hier en anglais pour les 20 ans de la section et nous essayons d'alterner les langues anglais, français, espagnol, arabe. Toutes ces conférences sont accessibles sur le canal YouTube de l'ICA. Comme le thème Archives et droits de l'homme est un thème transversal, il y a beaucoup de possibilités de collaboration avec d'autres sections. Des contacts ont déjà été établis, notamment avec la section des archives d'entreprise et du sport. Un grand nombre de membres de notre section sont aussi membres de SUV, la section des universités. Nous vous invitons à participer à nos activités. Merci pour toute information que vous pourriez nous envoyer pour la lettre d'information et que vous pourriez partager avec nous sur vos activités et celles de votre institution. Nous sommes particulièrement intéressés par les projets concernant les archives et les droits humains sur lesquels vous pourriez être en train de travailler. Vous trouverez beaucoup plus d'informations sur notre page web de l'ICA. Merci.
Merci, Perrine. Thank you very much. So our next speaker is David Sutton, who is from the section on literary and artistic archives. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. I've just put into the chat a link to the section's blog, where a number of the projects that I'm going to talk about can be seen in more detail. The section for Archives of Literature and Art is a long-established section, but it's true to say that when it was first established, it was a very specialized and European section. When we started to rebuild the section about the year 2010, we wanted to make it a much more inclusive and worldwide section. And to begin with, we invited onto our bureau representatives from all around the world and not only from Europe. So we were pleased to welcome representatives from Brazil, Australia and Canada, but also from Trinidad and Tobago, and importantly, from Senegal and Namibia. And that has very much enriched the work of our section. So we took the view as a section that if there are between 190 and 200 countries around the world, each one of those countries should be helped and encouraged to build its own collections of personal papers, and in particular of literary papers and artistic papers. And that was a work project that we set ourselves over a period of 10 years. What we found was that in probably about 140 countries in the world, there are developing collections of archives of literature and art. But many of the countries which have not yet started to build those collections are to be found in Africa. And so it became an important part of our work to work constructively with African colleagues to begin to develop new collections of literary archives. And this began essentially with a project in Namibia in 2015, where working with the Namibian colleagues, we drew up a work program to identify the literary and artistic figures in Namibia whose papers would be of interest. And we worked on a program of establishing where in Namibia the papers could best be held. And after interesting discussions between the National Archives and National Library and the university in Windhoek, it was decided that the National Archives in that case was the best place to be holding the literary papers. We then attended the conference that was held in Lilongwe in Malawi in 2017 and explained the work that had been done in Namibia and put forward the idea that it could serve as a model for other countries to begin to develop their collections of literary and artistic papers. What we had found is that many of the African countries, especially through their national archives, have a remit to collect such papers, personal papers, literary papers, artistic papers, but have not yet begun to do so. And so we were looking for further volunteers to work with. And the next volunteer country that came to our attention was Cameroon. And in Cameroon in 2018, we ran a similar project to the project in Namibia. We held workshops. We encouraged archival students to engage with the section, and the archival students provided a wonderful body of volunteers around the country, over 50 of them, who went out to speak to literary authors about their papers and about the possibility of bringing some of those papers into the National Archives based on a set of agreed criteria. And I'm pleased to say that by the end of 2018, when we reported back to the ICA conference in Yaoundé, Cameroon, we were able to tell people that over 50 literary authors were now represented in the National Archives of Cameroon. And that was achieved in a single year's work. So the section is constantly looking for new partners to work with. We believe that the projects that we've taken part in Namibia and Cameroon provide good models. And if other African countries wish to come forward and work with us on developing collections of their own literary and artistic papers, we would be very happy to engage with archivists and friends around Africa. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, David. David mentioned their archival students, and our next speaker is from the section on archival education. It's Abel M'kulama. So, Abel.
Good morning, greetings from Zambia. Thank you so much. So I'm a member of the section for archival education and training, SEA. So I became a member of the section on archival education in 2020 after attending a training, ICA organized training in Africa. And so the aim of SAE is to provide a network for educators and trainers in archival science, and anyone who is interested in professional education and training. So archival educators, records management educators, trainers can be a part of SEA. Our objectives as SAE is to promote cooperation between archival training institutions in order to assist in the development of research and qualifications for record keeping around the world, to disseminate information about education opportunities and training activities through regional conferences, and to cooperate with other bodies of the ICA. And through this section, coming from Zambia and others within the Africa context, we've been able to get this kind of training to improve what we do. I work for a university in Zambia, a young and emerging educator, and the section has been helpful in helping me get the much needed access to research materials and cooperation with other educators from around the world. As section on archival education, we carry out a number of activities. For instance, in 2022, we conducted several workshops. On the 3rd of November, for instance, we conducted a workshop on digital curation education in low resourced environments. And so myself and another colleague of mine from Zimbabwe, Dr. Forget Chaterera, led a workshop on teaching digital curation in low-resource countries. We also had another workshop on trauma-informed archival education, climate change, and archival education. And so we carry out a number of workshops that pertain to archival education. And then becoming a member of the section on archival education, you get access to various resources. And so you have access to these resources through the SEA website. So to access these resources, you need to be a member of a section. And so we have various publications going as far back as 2000. So what students need in archival science learning, Director of Schools and Courses of Professional Training for Archivists, training, the Training Resource Pack, conference papers that we've had as a section. And so if you become a member and a trainer, educator of archives, you can have access to these publications. So what do you need to do to become a member of a section on archival education and training? To be able to become a member of the SAE, you need to be a member of the ICA, and somebody will explain the various categories of membership to the ICA. And then once you've become a member of the ICA, then you can be able to join the section. Actually, when you go to our website, which I've shared in the chat box, you will be able to see the various ways that you will be able to join the section. And so as a section, there are other planned activities that we plan to carry out this year and next year. And so we are calling for all archivists, trainers, educators in this archival field to become members of the section on archival education. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I think at the end of the session as well, Maria Paula will tell us again about how to join each section and joining ICA itself. So our next speaker now is Fina Solà, who represents the section on sporting archives. Thanks, Fina. Fina, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour, bonne nuit. What's the SPO? What kind of projects does SPO and why we need your support? What's the SPO? SPO, section on sport archives, was founded in 2004 during the ICA Congress in Vienna. SPO's mission is to promote the preservation and safeguarding of sport archives worldwide. What kind of projects does SPO? SPO promotional leaflet available in Arabic, Chinese, English, French, German, Russian, and Spanish. You can see in the ICA website. Promotional video about SPO in English. You can see in the ICA webpage too, and I encourage you to see this. Professional resources, leaflet of support guide for the archives of a sport association in English, French, Spanish, and Catalan too. You can see in the ICA website too. Next November 27, the roundtable about the sport archives and Olympic Games on November 27, 2020 at 3 p.m. Paris time with the Zoom platform. We invite you to participate in a roundtable. It will be for the preparation of the Olympic Games of Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Another project, International Directory of Sport Archives, with information that can be used by archive professionals and the public and the general public. The website of ICA will list organizations, archives, and other institutions related to a sport archive, for example, museum, sport hall, fames, etc., which will provide institutional names, addresses, websites, telephone, and related information. The project of directory on a sport archives has been worked by SPO, the section of archives, but now we are involved in the PITCOM project 2023. And we are working with one new professional and it. You can see all the information and the project and the examples to fill the form in WICA and in ICA website. I encourage you to check it out and enter the details of, or if you prefer to contact to SPO@ica.org. And the last project is the fourth International Seminar on Sport Archives in Girona. SPO organized seminars on sport archives in order to make society aware of the importance of preserving this documentation and making accessible. We organized seminars in Helsinki, in Andorra, in Barcelona, but the last 5 years we organized an international seminar of Sport Archives in Girona, and by Zoom too. The first international seminar on Sport Archives was the vision of 9 professionals with experience linked to a sport. The second was about the public and private policies for preserving sport documentation, and the third was about the Sport Archives and the human rights, with the section of human rights. For the fourth will be held in Barcelona in 2024, maybe in May. If you have some experiences about Sport Archives or something linked in this, please contact with SPIO at ICA.org. We need your support, and you want to be member of SPIO, send a message of IC secretary. SPIO needs you, SPIO a besoin de voix. Nelson Mandela said, sport has the power to change the world. SPIO's task is to promote the preservation of this information. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Fina. Fina mentioned a film that the section has made. So it's a really good film. So if you have time, please go and watch that. So we're moving on to the next speaker, who's Jan Lohman, who's representing the section of international organizations. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, okay. Anybody can hear me? So my name is Jan Lohman. I'm the chair of the, acting chair of the section International Organizations. Myself, I'm working at the Historical Archives of the European Central Bank in Frankfurt. It's the SAO is one of the oldest sections. Well, it started in '76 together with the SPA. We were created at that Congress at the time. Why was the section set up? The main reason, some people say it's a problem, others say it's a blessing. We are independent of any national archive laws, and that creates problems. But that's also the reason why the section is set up in the first place. Because if you don't have national laws, you can basically do whatever you want to do in an international organization, but it creates all kind of problems. I mean, you need to create your own, for example, in a small thing, you need to create your own filing plan. You need to create your own retention plans, because basically that's not linked to any national laws whatsoever. So it creates more problems than you would expect. So yeah, I'm not sure if the link is set to in the, but we are also on the ICA website, and you can go to the web page, and there you can see precisely what we're doing and why we do things, and why we come together as a section. We have about 140 members. A lot of them are D members, so individuals, but we have quite a lot of international organizations, ranging from financial organizations like the IMF and the World Bank to UN organizations in like UN Habitat, which is located in the south of Africa. So we have quite a lot of members who are interested in international organizations. So for us, what we do as a section, basically, we are used as a network. We are talking to our peers regularly. We organize yearly an annual meeting where we come together in person. For the last few years, we did it for the last meeting we had this year was in Washington, where we basically met in person, not virtually. Which was quite successful. We had about 100 people coming, so that was quite good. And then we planning to organize virtual meetings. just to connect as much as possible with people who are financially or for whatever reasons not capable to come to the in-person meetings. So yeah, I mean, what we do. So if you are interested to join our section, and I sincerely hope that you would do, is if you are interested in international organizations, that comes down to it. If you want to work at international organizations, be free to join us too, because what we regularly do is that we send out our vacancies in the international organizations via our network. So if you are thinking of joining or want to join, yes, please do. I mean, it's a good network. I mean, a lot of people communicate through the networks. You can ask your questions to your peers in the international organizations, and I think it's for us it's very helpful also, and also to reach out to others who would not. We are very central European, North American based, and alas, I mean, we can't help this. I mean, a lot of international organizations are based or in Europe or in North America. But we have some African organizations also be member of the SIO. So the coming year, what we are planning to do, let me quickly check what I wrote down, is that we will be present, of course, at the Congress in Abu Dhabi. If you manage to get there, if I understand it correctly, there will be a section stand, and we will definitely be there to represent the SIO. So you can ask questions there if you want to, or you can join us already. I think also in Abu Dhabi already. We were going to organize a virtual meeting for young professionals, in the sense that we noticed that during our network annual meetings, a lot of head of archives are joining, because you can only send 1 or 2 people to a meeting, and the young professionals who I think are interested in our work miss out sometimes. So that's why we want to reach out to those people. And lastly, we're going to start organizing our next meeting, which will be in The Hague, in the Netherlands, in May 2024. So I probably missed all kind of things, but I will be available for any questions you have, or you can use the email addresses which are on the website to contact me or somebody else from the steering committee. We're happy to answer your questions anytime. So yeah, I'm 18 seconds too late, sorry.
Thank you very much, Jan. And as Jan mentioned, there will be a session during the Abu Dhabi Congress focused on the sections, so you can find out more information then if you're going to attend. So the next speaker, I'm going to now introduce myself, because I'm next on the list, and I'm here to represent the section on University and Research Institution Archives. So we're not as old as Jan's section. We were founded in 1993, so we're 31 years old. And basically, we're here to support anybody working in archives or records management in a university or higher education or research institution setting. We also have connections with archivists who work in the field of folklore. And as with the other sections, we're really here to provide support and guidance, but a lot of what we do, as Jan said, is about networking. It's about having conversations with people who are working in similar environments. I think what David was talking about in terms of the work that his section is doing in Africa is absolutely excellent. And certainly my section is very, very keen to make better connections with colleagues throughout Africa and with some of the other areas where we're underrepresented, because the more diverse our conversations are, the more interesting and beneficial they can be for all of us. So yeah, if any of you are interested and you're working in that kind of environment, please get in touch with me or think about joining the section. So what do we do? Well, We have some publications on the website, our section of the website. We produced a special edition of Comma, which is focused on archivists working in these environments. We have produced some guidelines on appraisal and disposal of student records, and also the management and preservation of scientific records and data. And we actually have a kind of subcommittee, which is called the Subcommittee of the Archives of Science and Technology. If you're interested in that subject, or if you work with that kind of archives, we run workshops around this. We've had 3 workshops so far, and we're planning to have the 4th in America in 2024. And information about that will be coming out pretty soon. And that's a really good group of people. There's usually about 60 attendees there, looking at some of those issues that relate to that kind of archival material, both in terms of its digital nature, but also often about just the size of the amount of material that you have to deal with. So with the next slide, a little bit more information about other things that we do, as well as those Committee of Archives and Science and Technology meetings. As a section as a whole, we have annual conferences. If you go to our website, we've listed each of the conferences that we have, and often the presentations are linked to the website as well, so you can scroll through those. The conference that we had just this year was all about access to archives, and that was in Dublin. And the previous conference was about ethics. So generally, these are topics that are of interest to archivists of whatever institution you're working in, but they generally tend to focus on university and research institution records. During lockdown, we set up a reading group. So we had we distributed links to publications, and then had virtual conversations about the publications, which have become very popular. It was our 30th anniversary last year, so we're just finishing off a publication that's going to be a virtual publication about University and Research Institute archives. We were fortunate enough to get PECOM funding last year. We did a big project around ethics and archives, and had several webinars looking at issues relating to the ethical management and access to archives. And a lot of those sessions were recorded, and we've created a kind of online ebook around that. And I'll put the link in the chat to that later on. The main project that we're doing this year is focused around the question of, what does diversity mean to you? And this is where we really feel that we're getting the benefit of an international organization like the ICA, because we're inviting people from countries around the world to have discussions about this idea of diversity and inclusion, because I think we all come at it from different perspectives. And I think this is going to be a really good opportunity to have a conversation that we can all benefit from by understanding different people's perspectives. So lots of places you can go to for more information. Obviously, there's the ICA website, which we're going to see a bit later on. We also have an email list. You don't have to be a member to join, but I would encourage you to be a member. And I'll put the link in the chat that you can use to join that email list. And we're also on Twitter. We're quite active on Twitter, so follow us there. We have a blog, just like David's section, and we're on Facebook and LinkedIn. So I'll put some of those links in the chat as well. And as we've all said, if you have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A. So that's it from me, from my section. And the next person I'm going to introduce is António Sousa, who's responsible for the section on architectural records. Thanks, António.
Thank you, Caroline. Bonjour, good morning, buenos dias. I would like to share my presentation, if it is possible. So I'm the chair of the section on architectural records, and there's something here that This section was created in October of 2000 in the ICA Congress in Sevilla, in Spain. And at that time, we were about 100 members. And now we are about 50 members from 23 countries. And our section, I must say that our focus is not only on architectural records that are in the offices of architects, because you can find also architectural records and documents on private individuals, on local and national agencies, and on NGOs, and in a lot of other archives, like the one that I run in Portugal, which is a regional archive. We also are interested in becoming a section that can welcome people from engineering, planning, urbanism, and some other areas of activity that are known usually by built environment activities. And at the beginning of this section, there are people also from this area, from cartography. We have in common the software that that the documents we have. We use similar software as in the past. We used to have documents in large formats. So we have some similarity of procedures of working and of documentation. So we have some main objectives. We have a large objective of promote architectural records worldwide, but we have a special focus on technical archival issues. And so we would like to increase the best archival practice and volume the work of archives and the people that works there. And we are a forum for people that work in this area, and we'd like to be able to give some support to people that work in countries, in areas where there are no specialized centers to help in this kind of questions. So I should go a little more quickly. We have been not so busy. We have not be able to have a lot of seminars and meetings. We had this year one-line talking in 1st of March, and we think that this year we will have another webinar by the end of this year. We are trying to have essentially online talks and webinars, and at your right side, you have these areas that we found that are more interesting for our members. Description on architectural records, and of course the records in context, management of architectural documents that are produced, and the applications that are used to find the management of documentation, the continuous preservation, and also the price of archives and documents. But we are open to receive more suggestions and more needs for our members and friends. In the past, we have some resources that are available for everyone. We have a guide to archival care of architectural records that is published in the English and French. It's available on the ICA on our websites, and we are trying to do. It's an old project, an architectural archives directory. We hope to finish it this year. We have done also 2 international congresses, one in Alcalá in Spain in 2001 and 3, and another one in 2019 here in Portugal. We have published these proceedings. The first one only in paper by the press of Alcalá, Universidad de Alcalá, and the second one is available online. So probably there will be a lot of other information that I could give you, but I think that with this information you'll be interested in becoming a member of SAHR, and so we wait for you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonio. And I see we have some questions coming in the Q&A, so we'll be answering those just after our last speaker, who's Paolo Massa, who's representing the section on parliamentary and political archives. So Paolo, thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour à tout le monde. The section for parliamentary archives was established in 1992 in Montreal and now has roughly 50 members, 3 or 4 of them from African countries, Ivory Coast, Senegal, and we are in touch with colleagues in Burkina Faso. The mandate of this section, I will read you from the regulation that you find on the ICA website, is to promote professional and scholarly cooperation and communication between archives and archivists of parliaments, and then draw attention on the existence of archives of parliament. And in this regard, we all over the world notice that we have 2 different systems. So there are parliaments who has their own archives, whereas other parliaments in other countries deliver their documents and papers to the national archives. But anyway, we realize that we have common problems, common questions, and professional challenges to cope with. And so the section is very, very active on linking all parliamentary archivists. And then the third task of the session is achieving recognition for professional status of archives of parliament archivists, and then to ensure preservation and historical heritage and memory of not only parliaments, of course, at institutional level, but also political parties. The section holds twice a year meeting online. This new mean of communication has been particularly developed during the last pandemic period, and one annual or biannual conference of the section on a particular topics of common interest. The last one has been held at the end of May this year, and the topic was the management and preservation of audiovisual and visual archives. You will find on the section website, on the ICA website, all the material concerning these conferences. Previously, we had many other meetings concerning very practical topics, like, for instance, drafting and the appraisal of parliamentary archives regulations, or there was a presentation to the Rome ICA General Conference, General Assembly of last September, concerning perceiving and reality of political institution the world over. We launched an international consultation, and we presented the data from this consultation. Basically, this is a community of friends, and I want to particularly stress this aspect, because you must feel free to join us, or if you simply need some information, we will very, very happy to ask you, to support you. And I feel particularly trained in English. Même si vous voulez, vous pouvez m'écrire en français, et je serai bien heureux de vous répondre en français. I will put my email in the chat just after this short speech, and please write me for any kind of question to join the session, and we will be very, very happy to work with you, to support with you in any situation, any sort. Thank you very much.
Very good, Paolo. Thank you very much. I should say just briefly as well that we would be delighted if you became members of the sections. But also we are often looking for people to join what we call the section bureau or the committee of the sections as well. So we're looking for members to help organize the work of the committees because we have elections for each of our section bureaus. So please consider putting yourself up for election as well. We have 3 questions, just enough time to answer them, I think. There's one here from Abdul who says he's been a member of ICA since 2014 and tried to join the section of international organizations but hasn't received any information yet. So perhaps, Jan, if you could...
Yeah. So I'm using... Yeah, sorry for my English and not speaking French, because basically that's a huge problem here on my side. I'm trying to answer you. Basically, if you could send your, well, I will, if you can send your email address to me, then I will address this with our secretary and see why you haven't received anything from our side. You should have, if you've been, of course, been a member for last year, you should have had more information.
That's
It could
great.
well be that that there are some communication problems with us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, I think the ICA office can follow it up as well.
Yeah, I mean that would be nice. I mean, if they can send something to the to our secretary, then we can straighten this out. It shouldn't be the case, of course. You should get more information from us.
Yes. All right. Brilliant. Thank you. Yes. And obviously, if anyone has any problems like that, please feel free to contact the ICA office. We have a question about participating in sections virtually. So I know some of us mentioned that we have face-to-face conferences, but I think we all do virtual things as well and have resources that are very available online. We are rather short of time, so about, unless you have anything specific to add, no. So I think,
no.
Yeah, if we just watch out on the ICA social media and news sections, we do a lot of things virtually as well, and we'd love to have your participation. So the final question is from Mohammed, is about this. We could have a whole conference on this about individual private collections made more accessible to the public. And David, I don't know if you have anything you want to say in just 1 minute about that, because I know your section.
It is very difficult in 1 minute. It is a topic of interest to our section. Obviously, personal papers are held not only in public institutions, but also in private collections. And there are different categories of private collections, some of which welcome individuals to come into their private properties, and others retain the materials completely without public access. As I say, in 1 minute, it's very difficult to have a discussion about this, but the section generally would be interested, and our section is interested in all topics to do with personal papers. Literary and artistic papers principally, but all personal papers. And this is one of the key issues that arises with the question of personal papers.
Perfect. It's perhaps something that ICA can consider doing something on in future, because I think it's of interest to us all. But that's us. That's it from the sections. So I'd like to hand back to Basma or Maria Paula. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, everyone. I think Maria Paula will continue to explain how to join ICA in general. That was the plan, I think. Maria Paula, do you want to follow up or?
Sure. Bonjour, good morning. My name is Maria Paula Garcia Mosquera. I'm the head of communications and partnerships here at the ICA Secretariat. Today, I will explain really quickly how you, as an ICA member, will join a section, because when we invite you to be part of these ICA groups, we need that you select and that you formalize, I will say, like that connection with the section throughout your ICA profile. So let me just share with you this simple slide where you will see like the step-by-step process to do this. So for those who are members, you know that you can access the platform where you can see your biographical information, and when you can process your membership payment and have access to all the resources that are only available for the ICA members. So once you log in to your ICA profile, you will see that you have the option to edit your profile and to choose the 2 sections that you feel more interested to join. As part of the benefits of being an ICA member, you have the right to join 2 sections. So please go there when I don't know if you see my cursor, and then when you select the sections, you will have the option to click on one, and then when you scroll down, you will see the option 2 for selecting the second professional section that you would like to join. All of them will be displayed, and you will be able to select those groups. And after that, we are communicating from the ICA Secretariat to the chairs of the sections the list of members and those organizations that are joining throughout the year to actively participate in the activities of each section. This year, and I'm going to start sharing, this year we have been implementing a new membership database, which has allowed us to have a more like clear sense of who are the members of each of the ICA groups, because the ICA not only have ICA professional sections, the ICA also have the regional branches and the expert groups. But because today we are just talking about the professional sections, we are trying to connect, when I say we, is the ICA Secretariat, with the chairs and the bureaus of each of the sections to communicate who are joining the sections, because throughout the year, all our members can decide which section they are joining, but the idea is that you become like an active member of the section, but that you also engage with the activities that the 13 sections are offering to the ICA community and extended archival professional network. So if you have any question about how to do all this process, or if you would like to connect with some of the sections, please email us to the ICA Secretariat. The email is really easy. It's ica@ica.org. But now that you have the opportunity to talk directly with the chairs, feel free to contact them. But here at the Secretariat, we are also happy to help you to create that bridge so you can engage with these ICA groups. So that is from my side. I don't know, Basma and Caroline, if you would like to continue.
Yes, thank you very much, Maria Paula, for this information, very practical information. And I guess a lot of our colleagues here are waiting for those details to activate and make their participation or make their membership possible. Please let me just, okay, this is an information for our colleague Lohman, who will receive the email of Abdel Kader. So just I'd like to say a few words, if we have the time, to say that the programme is also waiting for all contributions. Le Programme pour l'Afrique a besoin également de votre contribution, votre engagement. Pour l'instant, nous avons donc un travail assez intense avec l'IOFAS, de mon côté pour la partie francophone, mais aussi pas mal sur les implications avec les collègues anglophones et surtout avec l'IOFAS en Bénin. Nous souhaitons vraiment avancer essentiellement 2 chantiers pour l'instant. Nous avons l'ambition de saisir pleinement les besoins et les pratiques actuelles. Pour cela, nous avons lancé une enquête auprès de nos collègues africains. N'hésitez pas à répondre à nos questions. 2 versions sont disponibles. Je viens de lancer maintenant les liens sur le chat. L'enquête est ouverte depuis quelques jours. Nous avons eu déjà des réponses. Nous souhaitons encore avoir vos réponses. N'hésitez pas à répondre à nos questions. Aussi, une deuxième information, nous poursuivons avec Archivist Leader dans 1 heure à peu près pour un autre webinaire qui détaillera les objectifs et les réalisations et puis les étapes à venir pour le programme pour l'Afrique qui, pour rappel, est en train de finir sa 2e phase. Nous souhaitons vraiment avoir le retour de votre part et la contribution concrète. Maria Paula, I still have few minutes. We are supposed to finish and half.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
That's definite. Thank you very much. So, je voudrais revenir si on a le temps et en attendant, s'il y a des questions, évidemment, je m'arrêterai pour céder la parole à nos questions et à nos participants. J'aimerais rappeler les 2 axes importants du programme pour l'Afrique, qui est essentiellement d'abord la formation. Et pour cela, avec l'EOFAS, nous avons convenu d'investir dans la formation des formateurs. Nous souhaitons donc aider les formateurs à vraiment établir et à développer leur expertise pour garantir un travail durable. Nous n'attendrons pas quelqu'un qui viendra de l'extérieur pour former les gens. Nous souhaitons donc localiser l'expertise à l'intérieur et localement dans les pays africains pour qu'ils puissent diffuser et pérenniser cette expérience de manière durable. Évidemment, l'axe qui a été aussi au centre de nos intérêts, en plus de la formation et la formation des formateurs, c'est vraiment d'amener plus de ressources à nos collègues et à nos archivistes et tous les professionnels de l'information et des archives en Afrique. Amener des facilités, des ressources ouvertes, disponibles, accessibles librement, c'est un enjeu de taille pour nos collègues africains. Avoir typiquement et basiquement accès à une norme ISO, c'est pas donné. Comme vous le savez, même si on n'est pas en Afrique, c'est quelque chose qui coûte. Et typiquement, ces barrières peuvent vraiment embêter le travail et l'avancement concret et efficace de notre travail professionnel. Nous n'avons pas non plus l'ambition d'ouvrir toutes les normes et les ressources que les institutions payent, mais nous souhaitons établir un pôle de ressources qui permet à nos professionnels de les utiliser de manière libre et de manière accessible. Ça veut dire également que nous souhaitons identifier clairement et de manière assez factuelle et donc méthodique les ressources existantes. Qui dit ressources n'est pas forcément donc une ressource externe qui vient de l'extérieur de l'Afrique. Il y a beaucoup d'expertise qui a été développée en Afrique. Il y a un savoir-faire. Il y a vraiment un professionnalisme qui n'est pas suffisamment visible. Quelqu'un qui cherche un consultant sur les documents architecturaux ou bien sur les archives littéraires ou pour une question humanitaire, ce n'est pas tout à fait visible parce que nous ne sommes pas en mesure de cartographier toutes ces expertises. C'est en effet là le travail qu'on a entamé avec un projet ambitieux qui a pu avancer avec beaucoup de courage et énergie et bonne volonté en collaboration et partenariat très, très efficace avec l'AIAF, l'Agence internationale pour les archives francophones, et son organe clé qui est le PIAF, le Portail international pour les archivistes aussi francophones, avec Caroline Becker, donc du côté du PIAF, avec notre collègue Elsa Manguin, qui a aussi intervenu et puis qui a représenté l'école des chartes dans ce projet. Et le programme pour l'Afrique profite de ce partenariat très efficace pour développer ce genre de cartographie. Plus précisément, notre cartographie vise à identifier de manière assez factuelle, assez documentée, toutes les institutions d'archives nationales en Afrique. Le travail a pu être avancé également grâce à un jeune consultant très professionnel également, qui nous a permis ce travail et qui est actuellement en cours. Nous souhaitons vous le présenter dans les prochaines occasions, très certainement. Donc, en plus de l'identification des archives nationales, nous avons pu également identifier les entités et les associations, les entités associatives et donc les entités qui œuvrent dans le domaine associatif archivistique. Nous n'avons pas négligé également d'identifier les institutions de formation et les institutions et les entités privées, tout le secteur privé, les consultants qui sont dans le domaine de l'expertise et de consultation de la gestion des archives. Donc, l'idée, c'était vraiment de revenir sur et puis d'identifier, de cartographier toutes les parties prenantes, tous les acteurs majeurs de ce domaine. Je ne sais pas si on a encore des questions. Dans l'intervalle, j'aimerais également vous transmettre donc quelques informations. Donc, cette session a été réalisée grâce à l'implication et l'aide aussi de Meg Phillips, qui s'excuse aujourd'hui, qui n'a pas pu être avec nous, qui a beaucoup poussé à aider à l'organisation de cette session. L'équipe, évidemment, de l'ICA, sans laquelle et sans son aide, on ne pourrait absolument pas être en mesure de faire ce genre de rencontres. Maria Paula, Marianne, Clémence, un sincère merci pour votre travail, votre appui. Je remercie vivement tous les participants qui ont été à notre écoute aujourd'hui et qui étaient intéressés à savoir plus et à partager leurs questions et leurs petites hésitations. Merci beaucoup. Il y a encore des réflexions à faire. Il y a une offre très généreuse qu'on vient d'écouter. Comme vous pouvez voir, énormément de ressources sont disponibles, énormément d'expertise qui peut vraiment vous être utile et qui peut enrichir votre quotidien professionnel, mais aussi permet de valoriser ce que vous savez faire. Donc, n'hésitez pas à venir et à poursuivre et donner suite positive à cet appel, à l'appel de tous les intervenants ici présents. Je remercie sincèrement et vivement Fina, Yann, Caroline, Antonio, Paolo, Adèle, David, Perrine, et Shabou, toutes mes excuses pour la mauvaise prononciation des prénoms. Et nous attendons clairement votre appui, votre sollicitation, votre intérêt. Donc, nous sommes encore là. S'il y a des questions qui arrivent, entre-temps, je vais aussi ajouter quelques liens sur le programme pour l'Afrique, aussi le webinaire qui va poursuivre plus tard avec les collègues de Archivists Leaders. Donc, n'hésitez pas, s'il vous plaît, de poursuivre donc l'envoi de vos questions. Je note également que M. Ali Amadou, l'archiviste national du Niger, the National Archivist of Nigeria, Mr. Ali Amadou, qui a manifesté sa disponibilité et malheureusement n'a pas pu se joindre à notre discussion ce matin. Donc, le programme pour l'Afrique et son lien, suivront. Et une autre information également pour le webinaire qui va poursuivre avec les collègues de Archivists Leader. Un tout grand merci encore pour tout le monde, pour votre disponibilité à l'heure matinale, très matinale. Maria Paula, if someone wants to add something, please do.
No, the only thing is to invite all the participants to join us in the activities that we have prepared for the International Archives Week. All the archives represented here with the chairs of the sections are offering activities, and thank you again for your participation. So we will just end up this session. Join us and contact us in case you have any question or suggestion around these activities. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci tout le monde. Très belle journée. Bonne suite de bonne nuit pour certains.
Thank you. Au revoir.
Ah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Au revoir.
Au revoir.